Hey there, outdoor enthusiasts. This is Hunt Nerd. Hey, wanted to come to you today with a little bit of bonus content and talk to you about this really cool little device that we have here in our hands that we've been playing with for the last few weeks called the SpotX. SpotX is a really cool device that we got from the crew over at Spot. We've been playing with it for the last few weeks, and this thing is a really awesome, really handy little two-way satellite messenger that is meant for when you're backpacking, when you're in the hills, when you're in the mountains, when you're in the woods, wherever you go, that you might not have a cell signal and you want to communicate with people. A couple really cool features about this device, and then maybe one complaint, and then I'll tell you whether or not I would buy it myself. The number one thing that I really like about this is there's this really cool little check-in feature on here. So what you do is when you go and you set up the device, you set it up online, set it up on a computer, and it uploads to the device, and you can program in pre-programmed numbers. There's a bunch of messages settings that you can do. You can pre-program some messages, what you want it to say, and then all you have to do is go hit this check-in button. And all your loved ones, everybody that you want to stay in contact with, you can say, hey, I'm going to check in 3 times a day, or I'm going to check in once a day, or maybe you're just going to check in and just kind of let them know you haven't been eaten by a bear or something. But this is just a super simple one. With the touch of a button, you can check in and let everybody back home know. The messages come through about 5 to 10 minutes later. Sometimes I had one go through as quickly as 3 minutes later. So it's fairly, and when you talk about satellite communication, this is fairly real time. Pretty impressed with that. Really like that feature. Also a big fan of the battery life. So like I said, we've been playing with this thing for about the last 3 weeks, and there are 4 bars. It's kind of like a standard, kind of like your standard cell phone that way, but we turned it on. We had 3 bars, and we currently still have 3 bars. So over the course of 3 weeks, and now granted, we haven't been playing with this thing every day, we haven't been checking with it every day, but we've been using it. We've been out in the woods, we've been hunting with it, we've been taking it all over the place, and this thing, the battery life is incredible. I just wish they could figure out how to get my cell phone to stay that well charged. But super awesome battery life on this. I have no doubt in my mind that over the course of a 1 week or a 2 week hunting trip, you could do very well with yourself on one full charge. And if you had a little backup, solar charger or something, you would have no problem keeping this thing running. The two-way messenger feature is super cool on this too. Just like your cell phone, you can go to the create message button, type in a number, or you can have pre-programmed numbers, and then you can type in any message you want. Again, the messages are going to be slightly delayed, but then you'll get messages back eventually as well, so you can communicate that way. I did not play with the social media settings at all on this. You can. I just don't know why anybody would use that out in the hills, to be honest. But the other thing that I really liked was the setup was just super slick. Once you're on the computer and you had your stuff plugged in, go select your program, what you want for message rates, that sort of stuff, which is a month-by-month basis. So that's super cool that you don't have to do annual contracts. And that was super easy to set up, program all the phones, pre-program some messages. Very slick. We actually got the newest firmware update while we had this, right when we got it, and that's been a real pleasure to work with. So really nice. Really like this feature. This device. The one major complaint that I would say is some of these bigger buttons, they don't have a real confirmatory click. So it looks like it's got kind of an actual button, as you can see on there, and some of them they just don't. There's not a real heavy hard click that you get confirmed that, yeah, I pressed the button. So sometimes you press the button, sometimes you don't. Very simple, very easy to deal with that, but really a pretty cool deal. So the real question is, would I buy this thing? This thing retails for about $250 from the folks at Spot, and hands down, I would buy this without question with my own money. My wife would probably buy it for me, just for the simple fact that when we go out west and go hunting, the ability to check in like that and send some messages, even if you don't get a ton, would be a really, really comforting feeling for loved ones and for those of you that you're trying to stay in touch with back home. So I would absolutely do that. One thing that I would maybe consider actually if I was going to purchase this is maybe go in on it with a couple buddies, because the fact that most of your hunting is going to be done in the fall, you can share a rate plan for a couple months, September, October, November, December maybe, or September and October. And as long as you can schedule your trips around each other, you could get some pretty good use out of this with a couple buddies and split that cost. The other thing you could do is buy this thing and then let your buddies rent it out, or convince their wives that they should rent it out from you, or borrow it from you, whatever. And if you want to help field some of that cost, but it's really not too bad at $250. It's a really, really, really nice little insurance policy. Super cool, super rugged. One of the coolest features is this little trap door, and then you get an actual SOS button, and you will be rescued if you pay for that service. You're up in the mountains, you hit that little button, you will be rescued. People are coming, so don't hit that on accident. But talk about a really cool device. The guys over at Spot did this one pretty good. Big fan. So now we gotta send this thing back, but it's fun to play with. Alrighty guys, we'll see you.